The rain fell in sheets over the city, and the neon of the stores reflected in the puddles of water, creating a gray and melancholic scene. Leah, a heartbroken young writer, was impatiently waiting for her Uber on the corner. Cold night enveloped her in an icy embrace. The anguish in her chest was even more intense. When the yellow Uber stopped in front of her, Lian took a deep breath and got into the vehicle. The driver, a middle-aged man who appeared to be 48 years old, with a gentle smile and brown eyes that seemed to have lived through 1,000 stories, greeted her with a good evening. During the journey, the conversation flowed naturally. He, whose name was Fred, was a simple man, with a life marked by routine and a passion for computers. Lian, in turn, shared her dreams of writing a successful novel and her frustration with love. At every turn, at every traffic light, the connection between them strengthened. The words flowed with a lightness that surprised them both. Fred, with his calm and mature voice, told funny stories about his passengers and the city he knew like the back of his hand. Lian, in turn, enchanted him with her restless mind and passion for life. When they reached their destination, Lian felt a strange feeling of emptiness. He thanked Fred and, for a moment, hesitated before getting out of the car. She looked at him and noticed that his eyes were also watching her, with an intense shine. She told Efri that she was sleep-deprived, and if she wanted to continue the conversation at his house, he in turn accepted, and said that he was needy, and joked saying, "It's been a long time since I've kissed a mouth, and a little adventure is always welcome." When he entered the house, he noticed that it was humble but well organized. Leah turned on her smart TV and put on some very romantic music on YouTube, and from there, Lian opened a bottle of wine, and the two of them began to talk and smile for hours. After the third bottle of wine, Fred began to stare at Lian's thick legs, because even with her leg crossed, she was still swaying to get Fred's attention. The atmosphere was already hot and full of desire. Lian had the initiative to ask Fred to dance. Fred was embarrassed because he already had his member hard, and he didn't want Lian to notice, but Lian took his hand and pulled him into her arms. At that moment, Lian felt something hard and thick rubbing against her legs. Her heart raced, her breathing became labored, and the kiss was inevitable. Then the two of them began to take off their clothes, in that horny kissing of tongues. Lian began with an oral sex like that. With her very soft mouth, she drove Fred crazy. In turn, Fred did the same, and so they had a very tasty and unforgettable sex. In the days that followed, Lian couldn't get Fred out of her mind. The image of his brown eyes and gentle smile accompanied her wherever she went. After a few attempts, she gave up, and one day she decided to go for a walk in the shopping mall near her home. In the food court, she noticed two children playing, and one of them ran up and called Daddy. When she looked, she couldn't believe that it was Fred with his daughters and wife. Lian took a deep breath, exhaled her tears, and left dejected, defeated, desolate, ashamed, and humiliated. From then on, Lian told herself that she would never have sex on the first date, regardless of whether the man was ugly or handsome, a good talker or not. How do you see a woman's decision to have sex on the first date? And remember, each person's experience is unique, and what works for one person may not work for another. The important thing is that everyone finds what feels most comfortable and secure in their love life.